Coming up on Mountain News this morning, students in Magoffin County joined the effort to bring more highly needed emergency services to the area.
And a family in Central Kentucky spent their first night with a special new addition after a cross-country journey to save a dog from being euthanized.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:33 on February 10th. I'm Madison Pergrum.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News this morning on this Monday.
On this Monday, it's a rainy Monday in most part of the region, and it's going to be for the next week.
Yes, it is.
So get your rain boots, your rain jackets, get it all out. Let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon, another hard work week for you in store.
Well, listen, I'm not even worried about us. I'm worried about the people who are that could be affected by this flooding. A lot of areas that were heavily damaged last week saw a lot of flooding, and heavy rain will be the ones in the battleground again this week. Let's take a look and see what's going on this morning. And we take a closer look at down to the south there along the basically Kentucky-Virginia border. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on that here in just a second. But you see those heavier bands of rain down that way. Some going into parts of Johnson, Floyd counties, out of Magoffin County this morning, and some riding along the I-75 corridor down toward Southern Kentucky. There we go. We're looking at this cell here. It's been hanging out for quite some time here for the last half hour or so over parts of Letcher County going into Wise County. So if you're traveling over Jenkins, Pound Mountain there on US 23 going toward Appalachia, Norton, all those areas over that way, Wise, just be careful this morning because we're going to continue to see that heavy rain falling in those areas. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s this morning, so not too bad relatively speaking. With the temperature, it's anywhere between 12 and 20 degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday morning, so that's a nice change of pace. 12-hour planner doesn't take us up too much in temperatures, but it does take us up in rain chances. We'll stay around 90% for most of the day. The extended forecast is on the way here in just a little bit. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, officials in Magoffin County are worried after seeing data of long ambulance response times. Now, the application for a certificate of need is on file for the county. The process of obtaining the license is complicated and lengthy. However, one group of 7th grade students at Harold Whitaker Middle School wanted to chip in. Judge Executive Matthew Wireman says there was a common theme among their letters.
Most of the students were worried about their grandparents. That the ambulance wouldn't get there on time if they had a heart attack or they cut themselves.
Around 85 students wrote letters, from business owners to state representatives. Many others are writing letters of concern. The next step will be a hearing, which will be held either later this month or sometime next month.
And last night, a family in Versailles spent their first night with a special new addition. Jeff
and Joy Farmer decided to expand their family and adopt a dog. They fell in love with one online, but she was on the euthanasia list at a California shelter.
WKYT Shelby Lofton tells us about their dog's cross-country journey to finding her forever home.
Meet Callie.
When she's in trouble, she'll be Callie Vegas, since she decided to take a week trip there.
Nearly 1 month ago, she was awaiting a different fate at a kill shelter in San Bernardino, California. But when Joy Farmer saw her picture online, she fell in love. The Farmers met her in Vegas, but couldn't fly her home. They hired a company to transport Callie, but she ended up escaping from the handler.
I handed them the leash. I said, don't let go of this leash.
Which launched a cross-country search for her.
They made a lot of changes within the company and assured me that that would never happen to anybody else again.
A volunteer group called the Las Vegas Trapping Girls saw the Farmers' posts and made it their mission to capture the dog.
She's literally on the phone with me and she yells out, oh my God, you know, and I can hear the cage close and hear the dog start barking. And I couldn't believe it either. She had only put the trap out 2 or 3 minutes before.
This time around, Jeff decided to pick up Callie himself. The adventure didn't stop there. On his drive from Nevada to Kentucky, he was caught up in winter weather.
I'm caught between 2 avalanches.
But after hours of bonding, they made it home.
I'm very excited to have her home. I just got to get her used to the kids, and now Joy, you know, we lived together for 2 days in a van, so we know each other pretty good.
In Woodford County, Shelby Lofton, WKYT.
Now the Farmers say they plan to use a GPS tracker and get some dog training for Callie Vegas to keep her in sight.
Well, elsewhere, a Lexington Animal Rescue Group is stepping up to help a dog found shot in a trailer park in Lawrence County. Pause for the Cause says Angel had shotgun pellets throughout her body and significant eye damage. Thankfully, they were able to get Angel to a vet for surgery, treating her wounds and even saving her eye. The rescue group's president says Angel is already coming out of her shell after only 3 days at Pause for the Cause. She is currently in foster care and on the mend. Soon she will be up for adoption.
And authorities are investigating after a man was found dead along a Rowan County road. The Rowan County coroner says the victim is 33-year-old Anthony Nickel. His cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head. One man describes his reaction after his neighbor turned into a crime scene.
When we looked out the door and come out on the porch, they were laying, well, just right there in the road in front of the house.
Now, the Rowan County coroner says officials are investigating the death as a possible hit and run.
One man is dead after a crash in the Wallens community of Harlan County. The crash involved a car and four-wheeler. It happened around 6:30 last night. Highway 119 was shut down for a few hours while reconstructionists were on scene, but has since reopened. Of course, this is a developing story.
And North Highway 421 in Clay County is also back open after a deadly crash. That crash happened around 4 p.m. yesterday. The road was closed for a few hours as officials investigated. We do know one person died, and the crash involved 2 cars. We'll have all of the latest information on both of those crashes over on our website at WYMT.com.
Officials with Kentucky State Police are investigating a crash that happened on Friday in Pulaski County. Ava Artis was driving north on Kentucky 461. Officials say she lost control of her car and crossed into oncoming traffic, crashing into a van. Artis died of her injuries at the scene of the crash. Keene and his passengers in the other car were taken to the Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, where they were treated and discharged.
And the Henderson County coroner says 2 women were found shot dead in their home on Friday. 4 dogs and a cat were also found dead. And officials say a family member made the discovery and called 911. The coroner says there were no signs of forced injury. He says they will have a better timeline after the autopsies, which are scheduled for later today. Family members said off camera that the women were married and had been a couple since the 90s.
Forecast continues to look soggy again this week, and that's unfortunate news for folks who've already dealt with so much over the last 7 days, and will continue that trend as we start this week again. Looking at some heavier pockets of rain down near I-75, just west of there toward Lake Cumberland this morning, and southern Kentucky. We're also looking at some heavier pockets up toward the Big Sandy and down toward the Kentucky-Virginia border. Temperatures in the 40s and close to 50 across the region, so a fairly mild morning considering. We're also going to look at the out-the-door forecast. Unfortunately, those temperatures are not going to move a whole lot today thanks to rain and cloud cover. Only about 52 for a daytime high, and those rain chances will continue off and on today and could be heavy at times. So just make sure that you're ready for ponding water and make sure that you've got that rain gear handy throughout today and throughout the week.
All righty, Brandon, thank you. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning.
Here's a look at what's ahead. One Michigan family says their dog may be the only reason they are alive today. We'll tell you why.